No.
Yeah.
Okay, tell them to keep it down out there. We're filming.
Are you rolling again?
Yeah.
I'm rolling.
Okay. Good, because this is catch me.
This is Crossing the Jordan. Behind the scenes. This is how we really are.
This is how we really are.
This is how we roll.
Michael Bryant.
Question 1. Shoot.
How did you meet?
Craigslist. We met on Craigslist. I was looking for a lady,
Okay,
and
but we're gonna actually answer. So after.
Yes,
Yeah, no.
remember to
Be quiet.
answer here.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, it was Craigslist that we met. I was looking for men seeking women, and there she was.
Liar. No.
Actually,
We
washer
didn't
and dryer,
We didn't meet on Craigslist. I was selling my dryer.
and my buddy bought it.
Yeah, and I couldn't lift it, which isn't like me. But anyway,
Well, so he asked for help.
He
He
asked
asked
for
me
help.
for help.
and then the man of my dreams
I showed up.
showed up.
Knight
in
in
a
shining
work truck.
armor.
In
Yeah, it was a work truck I
Oh,
showed
you
up
did
in.
have a white work truck.
Yep.
So it was a white horse shining. Anyway, and then you said, oh, it's so cute.
Well, so there was
Tell the
there was
world.
something about her eyes, your eyes. So I
Yeah.
looked in her eyes, and I got like, I stopped for a minute, and I looked, and it was kind of corny, but it was true. So you can say actually corny stuff if it comes from your heart, then it's good. So I said, you know, the eyes are the window to the soul, and if you know what to look for, if you know what to look for, or if you know what you're looking for, you can see through your soul. I said something like that, and I said, man, and I really like what I see. But then she says, I go like this. I said, I want to put you on the spot. So here's my phone number. And she goes, well,
You have to
yeah, I
tell
do.
the
This is, yeah. And she says, well, I'm kind of old fashioned. Here's my phone number. And I said, okay. And I didn't call her. And 4 days later,
You have to tell
4 days later, she
the
called
world.
me, and I said, well, there goes old fashioned out the window.
Yes, you took too long. You were a day past protocol.
I was a day past protocol.
And
Yeah,
I
there is a
know who
protocol.
I am,
Yeah.
So I made the call because my white knight in shining armor pulled up, and I was really into your construction boots at the time. Yeah.
Concrete.
Concrete
Yeah.
mason, best there is. So, so that's where it all began. And then moving forward, we just fell in love. We actually went to the same high school.
We did.
We did.
But I was a dork. I was the band nerd.
You're the band nerd.
I was the invisible kid.
I was the cheerleader, the loudmouth.
You wouldn't have paid attention to me. She wouldn't have paid attention. She wouldn't have even noticed me.
I'm sure glad, because we went to our high school reunion, and boy, was I happy I chose him because, band nerds rule. But anyway, yeah.
They do. They grow up and rule.
So we were paralleling our lives. We
were.
had some of the
But
same
we didn't,
friends.
Yeah, we didn't know each other. And well, to be honest, I can't even remember any of my friends' names. I was like,
We were pretty out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our
I mean,
little,
not drugs. I wasn't doing drugs in high school. I was going to school, going home.
and I'm still friends with the friends from high school. So we were living this
Uh-huh.
parallel life, and then we got hooked on drugs, which will be in our full disclosure.
together.
Not together. We get in trouble.
Not together.
Not together. And then we go to prison. Not funny.
together.
Not together. And then kind of the cool thing is that, well, first this all birthed from that. But the other cool thing is we were actually baptized in separate prisons.
We did. Well,
At the same month of the same year.
We looked for a new way of life because
Yeah.
obviously, evidence would suggest that the old way of life wasn't really fulfilling our needs or working.
Clearly.
At that time, so
That's
we-
an understatement.
We did learn a lot, though.
We did learn a lot.
But we went on a new path with a new life. And
But the point is that we were like paralleling this whole time, even in our new life, desire. And so, fast forward, we meet, we date. In fact, we high-fived. I mean, talk about dorks. We high-fived in the parking lot,
my favorite president.
as our favorite president.
I don't know why we asked each other on the
That
first
was
date
weird.
what the favorite president was. That's like
It's
not a first date question.
No, but it clearly meant that we were meant to be together because it's a
Ronald
rarity.
Reagan, by the way.
Yeah, by the way,
In case you're wondering.
for all of you that might be offended, we love him. One thing we just have so
Successful.
much in common.
Well, no, I've actually been an entrepreneur
From
since I was
birth? Me
well,
too.
it would seem like that, but actually, from young teens or preteens, I had these
crazy ideas.
like my grandfather supported one of my business decisions at like the age of 12.
I know,
And I look
yeah.
back, it never would have worked, but he still helped me.
Yeah, I was still like a door-to-door salesman, I
Yeah.
think at 8 years old or something.
Yeah,
So
well, the soonest I was door to door was like 12, so
yeah.
a little bit ahead of me.
Oh, good.
You
Well,
were
when-
older. You're older than me, though.
Oh, yes. Another one.
She's older than me.
Yes. National news.
Yes.
Anyway, not by much. So yes, we had that same drive to succeed, same mindset, yet we lost our way. Okay, so in my story, I really was given a vision for crossing the Jordan, and when I met Michael, that had been a dream for, at that time, a decade, 10 years. And, I had been seeking it and then getting, discouraged, and I was on a roller coaster around it by the time I met him, and something amazing happened because I'd kind of been laughed at that I would have such a big dream, right?
Not by me.
And then you came along and were the first person to not laugh about it, to believe in it and partner with me. And one thing I remember is from day one, you created curiosity. And I look back and I can remember that you were intentional about like bringing that desire alive again, like fanning the flames of it. I don't know that I knew that in that moment.
I don't know if I knew that either. Just I'd failed at so many things, and your idea sounded like it might work, so I needed a win.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really deeper than that. And so what happened
it was a purpose.
Yeah.
It was the first idea I think that we had that we could attach ourselves to, that was something that wasn't about us. It
Yeah.
wasn't about our success, and it was something bigger than us.
Yeah.
And one of the things is we didn't try to start out by being this big glamorous successful
No, we didn't
thing.
build the roof. I mean, we built the foundation,
built
which
the
we
foundation
usually,
first.
we're
would
trying to
start
build
construction
roofs.
with the roof. Yeah, we tell people,
So
hey,
we-
you're trying to start a building, don't start with the roof.
Yeah, so the foundation was that, and then we kind of got known. I mean, we could be here for hours, but we got known for taking some women into our house, and
Well, that's how it started.
Yeah, and so the calls kept coming, and we were having quite a few people living in our homes.
Well, even our mentors, because if you think about it, so we have two just above toddlers living on our house, but we have this calling on our heart, because it was more than just a vision at that time.
Yeah.
It was a calling, it was a yearning. So we're bringing in ladies, ex-prostitutes into our house, and they're actually detoxing from heroin.
In our daughter's
We have our
room.
little kids
Don't
there,
judge.
and our mentors are like, hey, what are you doing? And we're just like,
And our kids were so amazing. They got to
was part of their
serve.
life. It was
That
part
was
of their life.
a part of their calling.
it
and-
wasn't out of the ordinary.
Yeah, they were like very blessed to be able to do that, which, we kind of got judged for it, and then it turned
by
into
everybody, but by a
by
couple
some.
people. They just
and
thought
then
we were crazy.
yeah, we just didn't
But
care.
some people thought, they're like, wow, that's cool. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's good for them.
Yeah. But then what happened is it was getting a little out of control, the requests, and we knew in that moment it was time to start crossing the Jordan.
Well, no, actually, what really happened was we were taking these ladies because they'd only stay with us for a week, 2 weeks until we found a place for them. But it was in another community that we were taking these ladies, and our heart was like, hey, these ladies in our community, and our community should be cleaning up its own mess.
Yeah.
And so when we saw
So it
a
was
need
time.
that wasn't there, we're like, okay, let's fill the need. So it was an invitation to actually come up with a solution.
Yeah, but I mean, it was the birthing of the dream that I had shared with you from our first date on. And so, so then we had our first festival. We don't want to talk about that too much. We got our butt kicked, and
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement. So, but because we had such a strong alliance, I remember when you looked at me and said, man, if we got our energy together, if we understood our power together and aligned it,
The power of agreement.
What could be accomplished. And I think by then we sort of understood that was what was occurring. And so,
Well, no, we understood that, but I think, even in the process, because it's like it wasn't easy.
No.
It wasn't easy by any means, and we underestimated some of the challenges, but we were all in. So there was like no turning back. So even in the midst of those challenges, there was no other way to go except for forward.
Well, and then we started putting door knockers on doors. With our children.
Early in the morning.
At 6 a.m. every morning, or every one morning a week, and then we would go pick up. And we had little notes that said,
fill a bag,
fill a bag, fill a need, but it was for a store we didn't have yet, for a home we were dreaming for.
Yeah.
And all our kids were involved. And, you know, just a really quick story is that I was losing hope.
No, so listen, here's the first time. So we put all the door knockers on a Saturday morning and really early, and it said, we'll put this stuff on the sidewalk and we'll pick it up on a Monday. And so that Monday, right before I turned the corner, we were in our truck with the kids, and to be honest, what I'm thinking in my heart is like, oh my goodness, how do I console my wife when this street is empty? And so I'm just figuring on how to,
we stopped and prayed.
Ease the tears and stuff like that. Yeah. How do I ease the tears when but then we turned the corner.
Oh my gosh.
The whole street, both sides had all of the bags. And I'm like, I'm choked up for a minute. She's crying. The kids are like, oh, what's going on? Because they're really young. They don't understand. And the truck that we had wasn't big enough to carry all the stuff. So we had to make multiple trips to our house. We're taking everything back to our house.
I always think about it's as if, God knocked on all their hearts and all those people got together just to show us like.
Well, it was a kiss. It was a kiss from the divine to actually let us know that we were in fact on the right track, on the right road.
And everything really followed from there. It was a recession, and I started calling all these stores and like, can we have a store for free? And they're like, what? And then people started saying yes.
Somebody said yes. Well, I had $500, so it wasn't for free, but I mean,
that's
imagine getting a retail store with $500.
6,000 square feet it was for $500.
Yeah.
So that's near free. We opened in 14 days.
14 days from the time that I gave them the $500.
And we used to make $50 a day in the store, and we have no idea to this day how we fed ourselves other than a miracle. Yeah. We literally were like rolling pennies.
When we came home, that there was actually boxes of food on our doorstep.
At Christmas, at Christmas we were so broke and too prideful to tell everybody because we had quit our jobs and
we walked away from our careers.
Yeah, and we were making decent money, and we walked away, and and I came, and there was Christmas presents on the front door, and we don't know who did it. We know how, but we didn't know who. And then it all started from there, right? Wow. I mean, what?
That's when the hard times started.
Yes, pushing an 18-wheeler is the way we describe it, with our fingertips for years. But many 3 a.m.
a lot of sleepless nights, tears, wondering if we made the right decision.
And then the first store, and women started coming in. And it was like there was this beautiful love radiating, and there was this traction that people used to call it, and light in the darkness down there on the bad part of town. And then we just started loving people. Not to say that we knew what we were doing.
We had no idea what we were doing.
All the training just kind of came from what, our love for each other first, our love for them. Kids started coming in. And really what we discovered is that we would wake up in the middle of the night like two little kids and go, oh, that's why we had to go to prison. This is what we learned here, right? The prison cell was our training, and God was our instructor.
Well, so many years in a cell, you have books and stuff like that, and so you just read what you have.
And we were determined in there to change our lives, so we did the work in there, and we did alone in a cell, being trained by God.
Wouldn't want to do it again, but it is the best education.
It is. Don't do it. There are other ways.
Just come to crossing the Jordan. We'll teach
Just come to crossing the Jordan. We'll teach you.
Putting our marriage first isn't something that we intentionally did in the beginning,
so we almost killed each other.
Well, yeah, because I think that we learned that. I mean, we heard it from our mentors and stuff, but I don't think we heard it.
No.
And because it was like, no, I got to do this. We got to do this. Getting up at 4 a.m., work until midnight, you know, push, and those things needed.
Me throwing things, losing my mind. I wasn't very mature.
Being that tired produced some friction in the marriage that I think that wisdom could have made that friction not be there.
Yeah.
So now by putting our marriage, like intentional date nights. Yeah. Intentional date nights, and spontaneity. So I'll still come and tell you, like I'll text her.
She'll text saying, I can tell you're losing your mind. I'm taking you away.
Well, I don't start to text like that.
No, but
it's just like, hey, we be at the house in 20 minutes. We're going out, and I won't tell her.
That's my knight in shining armor. Yes.
Well, yeah, I think that men still need to do that with ladies, even if they're married for 10, 15, 20 years, is because
absolutely.
That's the
it's
romance.
A must at Crossing the Jordan Academy. Spontaneity and chivalry.
Chivalry.
It's a must. We teach classes on it. How did we learn how to run a social enterprise that is a multi-million-dollar social enterprise?
Google and YouTube.
Google.
Actually, YouTube is a really good. YouTube, I think, is
all night long.
Well, YouTube, I think, is like better than college, because college has all the prerequisites, and YouTube you can just get to the point and then try it and
absolutely
come back and do it again.
So we're like, how do you do this? I don't know. Google it. How do you run a store? Google it. I'm serious. That's pretty cool. That might inspire some people.
Well, the brochures and stuff that we make. So
they were horrific.
We're like, how do you make a design in Word and email it or make a PDF? And it was there. So
thank God we have a better team now.
It took us like 4 hours to build a design.
4 hours to build a square.
To build a square. to build a design.
To figure it out.
And we had a desk in our living room.
Oh yeah. And that first, it was in our bedroom first. And then we moved to the garage. We were moving up.
We moved up in the world and we created an office in the garage.
And our dream, we had a party with our blue plane.
Came to that party.
Oh God! But we had a dream, which we're in the studio of that 22,000 square foot building, right? And we had a dream that we would have opposites on the opposite side, so that we didn't kill each other.
So when I told her, I said, "Listen, someday we're going to get the big office building. We're going to do it." And my office is going to be at the opposite end from your office.
Yeah.
And you can't get farther apart in offices in this building.
No, we are the furthest apart. Therefore, we have a happy marriage. I can hear you coughing. Anyway, we discovered that we could not do this alone. Big epiphany. So it just, meaning slowly, we started to find people that believed in the mindset that we believe.
Well, that they wanted to be attached to something bigger than themselves. And I think the true freedom came in training the trainers.
Yes.
And then they train trainers and it's a domino effect. Instead of just teaching people, hey, this is how you get off of drugs, this is how you live a better life. When you actually train somebody to instruct somebody else to do that, then an exponential growth of human freedom actually happens at that moment. And the energy is
well, that's crazy. What happened to us. We trained them.
As soon as we started teaching, freedom happened.
Yes, we stopped focusing on our problems. A big epiphany.
We've slowed down. Okay. So 7 years ago, we would go 100 miles an hour with our hair on fire. Thinking that people. So our mentors would say, "Hey, slow down. The hare and the turtle, or the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah.
The tortoise wins every time." And we're like, they just don't understand. What
we're not tortoises. Damn it.
Well,
we were rabbits.
Turned into tortoises.
And we are now tortoises.
And we just
happily.
gave that advice to our daughter the other night. We're just like, slow down.
You'll get there faster. That's my motto. Don't take my motto.
No,
that's my motto. What's the motto with you?
You didn't come up with it.
I did. It was from heaven.
Get mentors.
No, listen. Slow down.
CEOs love to teach too.
Slow down. You'll get there faster.
Well, that's on the back of all of our shirts too.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So think about that when you say like whatever it takes. That encompasses everything.
Yeah, and I think that it's sort of a lost art form in our culture today. Like, you hit a roadblock, and I mean, there's amazing people doing great things. Well, be uncomfortable too. Be willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of somebody else, or be willing to be uncomfortable for even if a long period of time, for the purpose of a win, of a success, or something new. And I think one of my greatest moments with you is I was hysterical on the porch, and you were quite adorable leaning against the door frame, and you told me this is when most people quit. This is when in this moment right now is when most people quit. And honestly, I don't know that I had any negative energy after that.
More to myself.
Well, it changed my life because we just said, wow, this is what it feels like to give up. We became aware of it, and then it was on after that. It was all in,
It's
game
the point
on.
of no return, and that's living.
Whatever
that
it
is
takes.
living, whatever it takes, and living a life that really is all in. When you're all in.
And we didn't really understand that those behavioral moments were the actual foundation of the trainings that we have established.
Yeah, I was just going to say that those are the culmination points of the classes.
Because what we actually experienced in the building of the academy were hundreds of people are going through that, basically our own challenges.
Well, the thing is it's also easier to encourage somebody
when
from
you've been there.
Yeah, because so now we have authority and experience from the pits that they're in, instead of, oh, we read this in a book and this is what the book says. No, we've been to hell. We've been to the bottom portions of hell. We know what it looks like. We got the T-shirt. Let's go.
Yes, and they want out of hell.
They do.
Therefore, they come. One thing I notice is that, we both, specifically me, I'm not so sure you were really into being in prison, but the tribe, you didn't want to be there. But
you did?
I didn't want to be there, but I did know that I was no longer alone when I was there, and I had built a tribe there in prison.
I was still alone.
You were still alone by the time my end was there, at the end there. I had built a tribe, and then when I came home, I realized so many things that we could talk about, but one is the longing for a community that you're with all the time, not just one meeting and stuff.
Well, then you're not the only one that had that longing, because, I don't want to say, oh, you had it and I had it. Oh, hey, we got a lot in common. I think that's at the heart of every person. Yeah.
That's what my point is. And so what is it like to lead such a large tribe today? It is so amazing because it is, they were longing, but everybody's longing for it. It's just hard to find at a deep level. So what a privilege to lead a tribe of extraordinarily talented people that are headed in the same direction, right?
Yeah, and this form of leadership isn't like being in front of the pack and saying, hey, this is where we're going.
No.
This kind of leadership is like leading from within. So it's like
we're arm to arm, connected. Yeah, it's
a different kind of leadership than the world talks about.
But I think, and I believe, we know at this point, that's what most people are longing for, and that's where addiction and everything is kind of birthed out of. The desire to be in a tribe together, moving forward and doing life together. Yeah.
We might even hear that in kids, when we're children, in books and stuff like that, like the little engine that could and things like that. But the truth is yeah, the truth is it is true. And when you think about it, when you do believe something, something
you
happens.
can achieve. We just set our target, and we hit that mother.
We set the targets.
I didn't swear.
It's okay.
Anyway,
it's okay if you do.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting to believe and achieve, and then watch other people in our tribe just hit their targets.
And encourage their believing. So if you doubt for a second, it doesn't matter if it's not like, oh, you're not believing in anything, because that happens. There's those times where we second guess. We're like, oh crap, am I going in the right direction? And I think that those questions are important because they help you analyze your surroundings and go, yeah, that's my target. That's where we're going.
And aligning. Really what it is having an alliance of people that are cheering you on and that will carry you in the hard times. So that's what we do here at the Academy.
So I tell Dana quite a bit. Because like even in marriage and stuff like that, maybe she might go, hey, you're not spending enough time with me. I need FaceTime and stuff like that. And she goes, are you okay? And I'm like, hey, take a look around. This is the birth of my passion for you. When you and I actually came together, Crossing the Jordan was born as a result of the love and passion, actually storybook passion, that two people had for each other.
Yeah.
And
so happily ever afters are possible. Boom, boom,
well,
boom.
not only are they possible, they actually still happen.
They still happen.
And they happen for our graduates too.
They happen all the time. Many people living out their happily ever after. So that's our story, happily ever after.
That's it.
It's our story. I'm sticking to it.